Your cat is on your chest. Your dog is at your feet. And neither of them got there by accident. You didn't train them to do this. You didn't assign them positions. You didn't negotiate. And yet, every single night, without fail, they end up in exactly the same spots, like they're following a map you never drew. Most people live with this for years and never ask why. They just pull up the blanket and fall asleep inside a mystery they never thought to solve. Tonight, you're going to solve it. Here's the assumption almost everyone makes. The dog is the devoted one. The dog needs you, loves you, can't function without your presence. And the cat? The cat found a warm surface. The cat is indifferent. The cat would be just as comfortable on a radiator. You've heard this. You've probably said this. It gets repeated so often, it starts to feel like fact. It isn't. What you've been watching every night isn't one animal loving you and one animal tolerating you. What you've been watching is two completely different biological operating systems running two completely different security protocols. And both of them reaching the exact same conclusion about you. You've been misreading the language, not because you weren't paying attention, because nobody told you there were two languages to learn. That changes right now. Let's start at your feet. The moment your dog makes physical contact with your body, something happens in their brain that has no human equivalent. A cascade of oxytocin, the same bonding hormone that floods a mother's brain the moment she holds her child for the first time, releases instantly, not gradually, instantly. The touch is the trigger. But here's what that actually means from inside your dog's experience. It isn't just warmth, it isn't just comfort. For your dog, the moment their body makes contact with yours, something in their nervous system that has been slightly tense all day finally exhales. The social math of their world resolves. The pack is whole, the anchor is present, sleep is now permitted. This is what behaviorists call social anchoring. And it goes back further than any training, further than any breed, further than domestication itself. Tens of thousands of years ago, the ancestors of your dog survived not through solitude, but through group cohesion. Physical proximity at night wasn't preference, it was the mechanism of survival. The animals that stayed close to the group lived. The ones that wandered into the dark alone were the ones the dark kept. Your dog never wandered, and they never forgot. Now, the reason they choose your feet specifically isn't random either. Feet are your departure point. Feet move first. A dog positioned at your feet receives the earliest possible signal that you are waking up, getting up, leaving. They aren't just touching you. They are monitoring you from the post, most likely to give them advance warning. Devotion and surveillance, operating as a single, seamless instinct. And while you sleep, your dog is doing something else entirely that you cannot see. Dogs carry scent receptors roughly 100,000 times more sensitive than a human's. While you lie there unconscious, your body is broadcasting a continuous signal. Your health, your cortisol levels, your emotional state, whether something in your biochemistry has shifted since yesterday. Your dog spends the night reading that signal in full. By the time you open your eyes in the morning, your dog already knows what kind of day you're about to have. They knew before you did. Now look up. Your cat is on your chest. And the logic operating there is so different from your dog's that it might as well be a different universe. Your cat didn't choose your chest because they wanted closeness the way your dog does. Your cat chose your chest because it is the highest available point on the largest, warmest, most trusted surface in the room. And to a cat, height is not preference. Height is everything. This is vertical security, one of the most fundamental drives in feline psychology and one of the least understood by the humans who live with cats. In the wild, the cat that held the high ground held everything. Elevation meant a complete view of threats. It meant a position no ground predator could approach without being seen first. It meant the ability to assess before committing, to watch before acting, to know before moving. Your cat on your chest is doing exactly this. They have selected the highest strategic position on the safest available terrain, which tonight, as every night, happens to be you. And from that position, they are running what animal behaviorists call an olfactory audit. Your heartbeat, your breathing rhythm, the specific scent signature your skin produces during sleep. Your cat is cataloging all of it, checking it against what they know, confirming that nothing in their most important territory has changed. Your cat isn't cuddling. In their mind, they've just taken the highest command post in the room. They simply call it your chest. This is also why your cat pauses in the doorway before crossing a room to reach you. What looks like indifference, that deliberate, unhurried stillness, is a territorial perimeter check. Your cat is scanning every inch of open ground between them and you, assessing every variable before committing their body to crossing it. The pause isn't attitude. The pause is precision. It is a predator's mind running a full security sweep before making a move. And here is what that pause actually means about you. The fact that your cat completes the check, crosses the room, climbs onto your chest, and closes their eyes means you passed. Every variable resolved in your favor. That assessment runs silently in your cat's mind, concluded with a single verdict: safe. That is not indifference dressed up in fur. That is trust that had to be earned, evaluated, and consciously extended. Distance, for a cat, is never coldness. Distance is the price of the trust that follows it. In 2019, researcher Atsuko Saito at Sophia University in Tokyo ran a study that quietly rewrote the conversation about cats and human bonding. She played recordings of strangers calling a cat's name, then the owner's voice calling the same name. The cat's ears rotated, their pupils shifted, their tails moved. Every measurable indicator of recognition activated. They knew their owner's voice from a stranger's with precision. They just didn't move. And that is the point. Their stillness was not absence of recognition. It was the result of recognition. They knew. They evaluated. They chose their response deliberately. Your cat hears you. Your cat understands you. Your cat simply processes you through a system built on assessment rather than reaction. Around the same time, researchers at the University of London were studying something that looked, on the surface, completely unrelated. Using functional MRI imaging, they examined how dogs process emotional tone in human voices. What they found was that dogs process the warmth behind a human voice in the same neural hemisphere that humans use for emotional communication. The word and the feeling behind the word don't arrive separately in a dog's brain. They arrive fused as one signal. Your voice doesn't just carry a message to your dog, your voice carries you. Now, hold both of those findings at the same time, because what connects them is something most people never see. When a dog sneezes softly in a calm moment near their owner, behaviorists now recognize it as a reset signal. A release of tension, a way of saying, the emotional environment is safe, I can let go. When a cat slow blinks at you from across the room, feline researchers identify it as the precise feline equivalent. A deliberate, voluntary lowering of the guard. A statement made through stillness rather than sound. The sneeze and the slow blink look nothing alike. They feel nothing alike. They come from two animals with almost nothing in common. They are the same sentence. Everything is okay. I trust what is happening here. We are safe. Two species, two completely different bodies. One shared message, delivered to you. To understand why the operating systems diverged so completely, you have to go back roughly 10,000 years and look at what each animal was doing before they ever entered a human home. Picture a small wild cat completely alone, on a rock shelf 20 feet above a valley, motionless, watching everything below in total silence. No group, no backup, no one coming to help. Just one animal and complete situational awareness, and the high ground that made both possible. Now picture a group of wolves sleeping in a pile in the dark. Every body touching at least one other body. The warmth collective, the vigilance shared. No single animal responsible for everything, because the group itself was the survival mechanism. Your cat still lives on that rock. Your dog never left that pile. They both just relocated to your bedroom. The cat's model was den security. One animal, one territory, total information. The dog's model was pack protection. Many animals, shared warmth, distributed vigilance. These aren't just behavioral differences. They are two entirely separate answers to the question of how a small warm-blooded animal survives a dangerous world. And both answers work. Both answers are still running right now in your home, in the dark, while you sleep. And all of that history, 10,000 years of it, is pressed against your feet and settled on your chest tonight. Now here is the part almost no one ever gets to hear. What happens in that room after you fall asleep? When you are unconscious? When you are no longer the observer, but simply the center of gravity? At some point in the night, something happens between your cat and your dog that has never, in the entire history of either species, happened in the wild. They begin to breathe at the same rate. Research into multi-pet households has documented a convergence that goes well beyond what either animal's evolutionary programming would predict. Sleep cycles align, breathing rhythms synchronize, body positions shift through the night in patterns that indicate a mutual awareness neither animal would openly acknowledge during waking hours. Your cat, the solitary perimeter keeper. Your dog, the pack-bound anchor seeker. Somehow, in your home, in the specific gravitational field created by your presence, they found a rhythm together. Your home is not two separate territories sharing a floor plan. It is something that has never existed in nature before. A hybrid colony, a genuinely new kind of social structure, built entirely around one person. You are not the owner of a cat and a dog. You are the organizing principle of something evolution never designed, never anticipated, and never could have predicted. Your cat and your dog invented a way to coexist, and they invented it specifically because existing near you was worth the compromise. Think about how extraordinary that is. Two animals, shaped by 10,000 years of competing survival logic, converging in your bedroom, breathing in the same rhythm because you made the middle ground worth inhabiting. Which is exactly why you need to pay close attention when the rhythm breaks. Most owners who look back after losing a pet say the same thing. The signs were there. The pattern changed. The position shifted. They thought it was a mood, a phase, something temporary. It wasn't. If your dog stops meeting you at the bedroom door, if the weight at your feet disappears before you reach for the light, do not move past it. Dogs do not break ritual without cause. A dog that withdraws from physical proximity is a dog whose nervous system is managing something it cannot tell you about in words. Pain, anxiety, cognitive decline in older animals, an environmental stressor that has crossed a threshold they can no longer absorb quietly. The ritual breaking is the message. If your cat stops completing the crossing, if they sit in the doorway but no longer cross it, if the chest position disappears from their nightly routine, the same principle applies. Cats are expert concealers of discomfort. A change in sleep behavior is frequently the first visible surface of something that has been building underneath for weeks. By the time it shows up in the ritual, it has usually been present for a while. The sink is not the atmosphere. The sink is information. When both animals are in their positions, the ecosystem is functioning. When one of them goes quiet in a way that doesn't resolve, The ecosystem is asking you to look closer. Look closer before it has to ask louder. So here you are again. Late, tired, finally horizontal. The cat on your chest, the dog at your feet. You used to see one animal who needed you, and one animal who merely permitted you. Now you see what's actually there. A solitary predator who surveyed the entire territory, ran the numbers, and concluded that tonight, as every night, the highest safe ground is you. And a pack animal who confirmed that the social contract is intact, that the anchor is present, that the world still makes sense, and pressed their weight against your feet to seal it. They chose different positions. They used different languages. They came from different worlds that never, in 10,000 years of separate history, were supposed to overlap. Your cat chose you over every quiet corner in the house. Your dog chose you over every instinct telling them to stay close to the group. Two animals running completely different calculations, arriving at the same answer every single night without fail. That answer is you. What is happening in that room is not ordinary. It is not two pets finding warm spots. It is one of the rarest arrangements in the natural world. Two completely different species, shaped by completely different histories, both pointing in the same direction. Both pointing at you. Don't fall asleep without noticing it. If you've ever looked down at your feet and up at your chest at the same time and felt something you couldn't quite name, that's exactly what this channel is for. We'll keep finding the words for it. Subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. And before you go, tell me in the comments, who wins the bed in your house? Does your cat hold the high ground, or has your dog staged a full takeover? I read every single one.